Hey, what's up you guys, Jack here. So this video here is actually a continuation on our part 1 on how to build a BIOS Zone Wars. If you want to watch part 1, there is a link at the top of the screen, and also you can find that in the description. But briefly, part 1, we actually built our starting area. We had a bunch of settings, we had our player spawns, we had a few class selectors. We also got into like really complicated settings with the different devices and triggers, and the player references, select people's names when they enter those class selectors to change teams. Yeah, very complicated stuff. But we're gonna continue building our map. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm in the middle of our map here. What I want to do is place a barrier. So I'm gonna go to devices and to barrier. And how we're gonna do it, I'm gonna place down a metal floor, and then I'm gonna place a wall. I'm gonna grab it, I'm gonna jump, hold down my left analog stick on controller, and we're gonna go underneath our ground here, place a wall, grab our floor and go underneath again, and then we're gonna place our barrier down here. Go into the options of the barrier. Here are the options. Barrier style, I'm gonna set this to thread plate, but if you like, you can use other styles, all up to you. Zone shape, box hollow, very important. I know from personal experience, I've made tutorials where, I mentioned to use box hollow, but I didn't say it was important, so I guess people, skipped it, or I have no idea. And then they'd actually run into problems on their map, and yeah, just make sure this is set to box hollow. Barrier width, 40. Barrier depth, 40. Barrier height, 80. So now this is our boundaries. This is our arena we'll be building in. And the idea is on this map, there are 5 teams. So we got to spread out the 5 different locations where people spawn. But before we do that, if you want, you can actually place down a floor in this arena. You can use whatever you want in the galleries. I'm going to type in dark in the search, and I'm going to use dark tilted floor and stair gallery. And from here, I'm going to be using this floor at the very bottom. And what I got to do is replace the floor with this. If you need to, you can actually select all the pieces using the right on the D-pad on controller. Just select everything, and then you can copy it, and obviously you're going to save a lot of time. And once you're done, it'll look something like this. Of course, if you want to use a different floor, it's all up to you. So next, we're going to have to go to our color galleries, and then we're going to start with our first color. Now, what was my first color? My first color was fuchsia, or purple, and I'm going to take the solid purple color wall, and I'm going to place it down. So one spawn area has been made. Now once you built your base, and you can design it however you like, if you want to make it bigger, if you want to like redesign it, what we're going to do, this is what I suggest, we're going to select this whole piece here, grab everything, and what we're going to do is copy this, and we're going to place the other bases down so we know where we want to place them. And what you're probably going to want to do is actually make it so it's even distance away from each other. And we're going to place down 5 bases right here. So this base here, this base is actually a little bit more isolated than the other ones. You kind of want to make it so they're at an equal distance away from each other. And that is what I'm going to try to do. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. So next thing we got to do, obviously all of these are purple. If you want to just keep it purple, it's all up to you. But I'm going to change the colors. I'm going to choose another color. I'm going to choose all green. On Fortnite Creative, sometimes when you try to place these walls down, it doesn't place. What you can do is actually rotate it using the RB button. Just rotate clockwise, flip it around, and then you can place it down, and then flip it again, and then place it. There you go. So there's gonna be a little crack here, but what we'll actually do, we'll have a zone, so it's not really a big deal. No one's gonna hide back here. I think all this stuff that I'm doing now is pretty straightforward. All you're going to be doing is changing the colors for all the bases, except for obviously the original, which was purple. Leave that up to you guys. I'm going to have a quick montage of me just changing all the, the colors. It's going to take some time, probably like 30 minutes. We now have 5 different colors, 5 different bases. We're going to be placing down player spawns. We're going to go to devices. We're going to select the player spawn pad. We're going to go into the fuchsia base, which is our first team. We're going to place one of these down. We're going to go into the options. Team, set this to team 3. Priority group, primary, uses island start, no. Visible during game, no. After that, you can copy this 2 times. So we're going to have 3 player spawns per base. What we're going to do next, go into devices. We're going to go to the item spawner. With the item spawner, here are the settings. Items respawn off. Random item spawn, random. Visible during games, off. Time before first spawn, instant. You have item spawner here that's invisible when the game starts. What you can do is place items that you want in your game mode in this item spawner. Suggest having different categories, so you would have an item spawner filled with different varieties of ARs, and then you'd have another item spawner with different varieties of shotguns. You know, be creative. But before I do that, I'm going to copy the item spawner so I don't have to do it again. In this item spawner, I'm going to use first assault rifle stuff. So I dropped different varieties of assault rifles. Now, if you want, legendary weapons to be more rare, what you can do is place more of the common or rare epic weapons instead of the legendary, and only have one variant of legendary. That is definitely an option. I'm not too worried about that. Next, I'm gonna be making a category or make an item spawner for shotguns. If anytime I make a Fortnite creative map, I try to make it as fair as possible when it comes to the weapons. I feel like the legendary shotgun is probably the most chosen weapon out of any gun in the game, and it's just because it's a very reliable weapon. And we do have the primal shotgun here, and it's not gonna it's not gonna cut it. You're not gonna do that much amount of damage. Yes, if you barrel stuff with the primal shotgun, you probably do more damage than a legendary shotgun if it hits you in the toe or something. But me personally, I don't want someone rushing me with a legendary shotgun while I have a primal shotgun, and we're not gonna have a primal shotgun in my game mode. But the good thing about Fortnite creative, you can make your map however you like, you can design your map however you like. All right, shotguns have been completed. Next category, I'm gonna use like SMGs. Next, other item spawner. What I'll do with this, I'll put more consumables, I put more heals. Last item spawner, I'll put utility items. To take in consideration, there's actually 3 players that are going to spawn, or 3 players maximum that's going to spawn in this base. So I recommend, copying all the item spawners 3 times. Maybe, only have one, utility item spawner. And there you go. All the item spawners are random, so when the game does start, one item is going to spawn, and it's going to be random. So what I did was I selected all the item spawners. We're going to go ahead and bring it over to all the different bases, so we don't have to place it manually. I'm going to take the wall on all the other bases. So after placing all your weapons, what you can actually do is copy your player spawns. So I'm going to select all my player spawns. I'm going to grab the wall from the outside. Then I'm going to place this for all the different, bases. After you place player spawns for all the different bases, obviously you're going to have to change the team settings for all the player spawns. Make sure they're on different teams for every base. Second one will be team 4. So this is now team 4. Third one will be team 5. Fourth one, team 6. Fifth one, team 7. So I totally forgot, with your player spawn pads, if you like, you can set up the teams matched with how you have them set up at your starting area. So you're pretty much matching the same color with, the starting area. So for myself, blue team is set to team 7, green team is set to team 6, yellow team is set to team 5, red team is set to team 4, then purple team is set to team 3. Next, you're gonna have to go into the middle of your arena and place down a storm device. Now in the devices, there are 2 different storm devices. You got the advanced storm device, and you also have the basic storm device. If you're not too serious about like random zones, you can actually just use the basic storm device and use my settings. I'm gonna use the basic storm device for this example, but after that, I'll use the advanced storm device just to show you guys an example on what you can do. I suggest placing it as close as possible to the middle of your map. If you go to the basic storm device settings and then set it to 100 meters, you can actually see a ring around the storm device, and you can kind of gauge to where the middle of your map is. But here are the settings that I recommend for the basic storm device. Initial radius 200 meters. This is the starting radius of the storm, and radius 5 meters. Wait time 10 seconds. Resize time 3 minutes. So from there, you can actually start your match and test out your game mode. So if you look at the storm, you can see how fast the storm is. I like it this way. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, and it gets the game going. And once the storm reaches 5 meters, it'll actually stop, and it'll stay like that till the last team is standing. Show you a example of a advanced storm device. So 2 devices, advanced storm device. So you got the advanced storm controller and the advanced storm beacon. So the advanced storm controller Here are the options. So generate storm on game start. If you like, you can have this set to yes, so the storm just, activates on game start. I'm actually gonna make a mechanic so the storm actually gets started from a countdown, and I'll set that up on my map. But if you don't want to do what I'm planning on doing, you can always just set this to yes. The storm activates right away at the game start. Storm phases, custom, bounds radius, I suggest 100 meters, so it's around your arena. Generate storm when receiving from, I have it set to channel 150, which will be my mechanic in order to enable this storm. Once again, if you don't want to follow what I'm doing and make a storm with a countdown, you don't have to have this, so you can just set it to no channel, but I'll have it set to channel 150. Next, I have 3 advanced storm beacons. Here are the options. The first one, end radius 200 meters, resize time 2.5, which is what I recommend, and this is how I like my storm. Damage for the first storm is a 5% damage per second. The next storm beacon, so you just copy the storm beacon, make a second one. Here are the options. Phase, I have it set to phase 2. End radius 10 meters, wait time 10 seconds, resize time 1 minute, damage 10% now per tick. Move distance minimum, move distance maximum. I don't think it'll make a difference for this device, but I have it set to 0 meters. Next, I had a third one. Copy that, make another one. Phase, I have it set to 3. End radius 0 meters. Wait time 10 seconds. Resize time 1 minute. Damage is now 20%. Movement behavior, I have it set to move randomly, and this is where the random storm comes into play. Move distance minimum, I have it set to 50. Move distance maximum 50 meters. That is it. That is my storm. How I have it set up is like a very basic random storm placement once it reaches the middle of the arena. But yeah, that's my 2 options. So either basic storm controller or the advanced storm devices. What I'll actually do is set up a mechanic. I'll go to devices and get a few barriers, and I'll actually go into my ramps. If you don't already know, you can hold down left analog stick, your character will glow. You just go through. I'm placing down these barriers just underneath the ramp, and I'll have these settings. Barrier style translucent, barrier width 3, disable when receiving from channel 150, which will be our storm. So what happens is, you spawn, and then you'll actually have a barrier in front of you, and it'll give some time for everyone to spawn onto their arena or their selected team. And then after the timer is up, then the barrier will disable. But I thought this was a really good idea. It just gives some people some time to choose weapons. I did notice in the BIOS Zone Wars map, the original BIOS Zone Wars map, there wasn't a lot of time to organize yourself. The game just starts right away, which a lot of people do like. They don't like wasting any time. That's just an option. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. So I'm gonna go to all my bases and do the exact same settings, and there we go. So next, I'll go to my starting area. At the starting area, I'll go to devices, and then I'll go to my timed objective. This will be my timer. Here are the options. Start when round starts, yes. Time 30 seconds. Timer label text, all up to you. I have set to game starts at. Timer label text style, extra large. Visible during game, nope. Urgency mode, disabled. And then when completed, transmit on channel 150, which will be connected to our barrier and our storm. Now I'm going to go to my island, then adjust my game settings. But here are the options that you'll have to change if you have like fresh settings for your my island. Voice chat, all, teams, custom. This is very important for this game mode. Spawn limit 1. Total rounds, it's all up to you. I'll have 100 rounds. Time limit, I'll actually disable this. There's no reason for this because there is a storm. Last standing ends game, very important. Turn that to on. Join in progress, I'll have this to spawn on next round. Next tab, settings tab, time of day 4 p.m. Starting shields, 100%. Infinite resources, off. Environment damage, this is very important, turn that to off. Building can destroy environment or no. Down but not out, all up to you. If you want to have people downed in your game mode, I'll turn this to on. Fall damage, on. Glider redeploy, off. Health granted on elimination, I'll set this to 50, so you get siphon in your game mode. Next tab, UI tab. round score display time, I'll actually set this to 3 seconds. I find that the scoreboard is pretty annoying. You kind of just want to play rounds over and over again without the scoreboard taking up most of your time. Scoreboard tiebreaker 1, eliminations. Scoreboard tiebreaker 2, damage dealt. Scoreboard tiebreaker 3, eliminated. Alright, there you go. So if we start the game, round starts. You got a game start timer at the top. It says 30 seconds. You can choose your team. By the time you respawn, you should have like 20 seconds left to choose your weapons. You can go through it, see what weapons you want, see what weapons you want your teammates to have, and then, you know, once the timer's up. Right now, I'm on my starting area. What we're going to do, we're going to go into devices. We're going to select the team settings and inventory. We're actually going to need 7 of these. And we're going to place them on top of here. Just like so. So what we're going to do, we're going to have these team settings and inventories from team 1 to team 7. So change the option team and just, you know, change the options until you reach team 7. So the idea is our first team and our second team are our starting, you know, teams for our starting area. Then our team 3, the team 7 will be our actual arena teams. Now there's obviously many ways you can do this. This is just, you know, how I'm doing it. What we're going to do, we're going to go to our first 2 teams, which is our starting teams, and we're going to disable drop items when eliminated. Eliminated players items, I'm just going to turn that to delete. And then the second team, do the same thing. Eliminated players items, delete. You know what I'll actually be doing is placing down one other team settings in inventory, and it's going to be separate from those. And this one here, because it's set to all or team all I have to do is place the items I want for my players in my game mode on default. So for example, ammo, materials, maybe heals. I'll actually have heals, like default heals for my game mode. I'm going to have materials and just ammo. And then some heals. I'm going to have some heals for my players. And then when you're ready, just drop them in this team settings and inventory. And there you go. And that's just a quick way to, you know, set up inventory. But if you do want to put a little bit more effort, you know, in making it more detailed, you know, you don't need this team settings and inventory. You can just delete it. And then you can go to team 3, the team 7, and then place the items that you want for all those different teams. Then obviously you're going to want to, you know, keep it the same. You're going to want to use the same amount of materials, same amount of ammo, same amount of, you know, heals and stuff like that. And then place them on every single team settings and inventory so everyone has the same default inventory. But of course, that is, you know, up to you. That was just my way on, you know, setting that up as quick as possible. Here's a quick detail. You can actually go to these devices and you can actually see it says team name. You can actually set names for these teams. When you do look at the scoreboard, you can actually see that there's a, you know, a name for the team. You can always set these up if you like. So for example, my team 3, oh shoot, so team 3 is my purple team, so I'd have that team name set to purple. And my team 4 will be my red team, which I'll set to team red, and then so on. And a special thing I'll have is my team 1 and team 2. I have these set to like choose team. And if you look at the scoreboard, it'll just say choose team for, you know, these teams. Another thing we have to do, I totally forgot, we actually got to set up our mutator at our starting area. So 2 devices, mutator. And we're going to place this at the top of our starting area, as close to the middle as possible. Mutator zone, allow building, nope. Zone width, 5. Zone depth, 9. Zone height, 2. Now there's a very good possibility you have to readjust your mutator size. Just make sure it's the size of your starting area. So now in our starting area, you won't be able to pickaxe each other or, you know, do any harm to each other when the game starts. Another thing we can do, which is an option, 2 devices, we're going to go to our damage volume. And I'm going to place this next to the mutator. Zone width, 5. Zone depth, 9. Zone height, 2. Damage type, damage over time. Damage, 20. Enabled on game start, pretty important. Make sure this is set to no, so it's not enabled on game start. Enable when receiving from, which will be channel 150, which is also our countdown. So this damage volume will actually enable when the barrier gets disabled. Once the countdown is completed, it'll actually eliminate anyone that's AFK in this area. Something to point out, you just gotta make sure the mutator and the damage volume from the outside is the whole starting area, depending on how large you made it. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Shout out to the original person who made the BIOS Zone Wars. It's his actual name, Bio. So once again, you guys smash that like button if you guys enjoy this type of content. Subscribe if you guys are new and are interested in watching other content from me. Use code JackjackHD in the item shop if you do want to support me. Greatly appreciate you guys. For my subscribers, hopefully you guys enjoy the content. I might eventually, work on other types of content on YouTube. This Fortnite creative content is, it's very underrated. But anyone who made this map and, made their own BIOS type of Zone Wars map, let me know down below in the comments. It's always nice to see people who got their maps working from my tutorials. And that's pretty much it, you guys. So hopefully you guys had fun making this map, and good luck anyone that's still working on this map. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, guys. Peace.